everywhere you look, you see it's versus, PlayStation versus Xbox, Xbox versus PlayStation. And it's just one of those things that continues to kind of be an issue over the years. We see this kind of thing go on and on and on. And, gaming consoles, everything is going to have like these kind of things where it's going against each other, and there's going to be winners and losers, and most of the time, like so far, it's been Xbox has been sort of the loser or whatever. But this was something that I've warned of many times, especially with recent announcements and things. I thought, hey, this could really end badly for Microsoft if things don't kind of get better for the console. And now we have, a little bit of an indication of just how bad things can get. So this should be an interesting video, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to be very interested in hearing about it. So hang on, let's get started. Should be a fun one. So this was kind of breaking news yesterday, and I kind of wanted to cover it. So this game called Idiotic, The Last Song, the developers actually canceled the Xbox Series X and S release, quote, for now, as the team reassesses the possibility for an Xbox release later. So here's the thing, like this kind of thing is something that we see a little bit more on this, and it's just one of the things that we could see pop up a little bit more, and so far a lot of them might not be like the big ones from like Western developers and things like that, but why wouldn't that be the case if Xbox continues to struggle? So during yesterday's Future Game Show live stream, Souls-like RPG Idiotic, The Last Song made another public appearance to unveil its official release date. However, the Xbox version has now been quietly canceled as other platforms take priority. Coming by way of Gamatsu, developer Jaima Games says that it will now, quote, reassess the possibility of an Xbox launch post-launch in order to ensure a superior experience for PC and PlayStation 5 players. So this is exactly what they says. Regarding the release on Xbox, we have decided, in the interest of ensuring a superior experience for PC and PlayStation 5 players, to reassess the possibility of an Xbox release post-launch. So yeah, I mean, that's something that it looks like could come down the line. And I know, like, for me, you probably see something along the lines of a lot of people go, oh, well, who cares about this game or whatever. And I get that, because this game was not one that I'm personally interested in, but it was something that we don't really want to see kind of happen time and time again, because you want to get as much content as possible if you're an Xbox fan. So when you see stuff like this pop up, you kind of start to question it a little bit. Now here's the other thing. Microsoft actually advertised this game in their Idiotic Xbox on their Xbox channel as well. So it's not like it was something that wasn't advertised or anything like that. It's just one of those things where people, I guess, don't see that much need for putting it on an Xbox. So that is one of those things that kind of makes me say, hey, this is a little bit odd, to see something that was canceled, that was in active development for Xbox. So obviously it's disappointing, and I think people wish that it was coming to Xbox. There is some hope, but I would not hang my hat on that hope if you're an Xbox fan. And this is just an indie game. I get it, trust me. Like, people are going, oh well, who cares, it's mountain out of a molehill. Maybe, right? So anyway, the dev company has just 60 people, where other major developers are working with hundreds of people, and obviously Xbox has a very small install base compared to PlayStation and PC, and that's detrimental towards people developing games for Xbox. I mean, you even look at some other indies like Dave the Diver or whatever, or Kena, Bridge of Spirits, and these games are not on Xbox, and it's unfortunate, and listen, there has been some headway with some games for sure, right? Like when we look at it and we see, okay, well, there has been some headway when you look at it, because we see the Persona games coming to Xbox, and we see some of these other types of games coming to Xbox that traditionally wouldn't. So I think that is some headway, but then you still see major releases like Final Fantasy and things like that not coming to Xbox. I think that is a bit of a issue, and still, I see some Xbox fans will probably try to damage control a little bit, and I understand that, right? But it's like, at some point you have to, I think, kind of go and say, well, this is kind of crummy, and it's unfortunate, and hopefully this doesn't become like a theme, because you don't want, as a fan, to have the platform that is doing next to nothing in terms of releases, right? Like that would be an unfortunate thing to say the least. So I actually hope that we see, more games come to Xbox. But it is so weird to me that the game they advertised, the game that they showed off, is a game that got canceled. And again, you see like 60 million people have a PlayStation 5, and however many people have a PC or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just weird to me to see just Xbox gets skipped completely, but it is probably something that maybe we should get used to. Will it be, big third parties that do that down the line? Like, I'm not really sure if that'll ever be a thing that happens, but at this particular point, hey, we are seeing some of this stuff to pop up. I mean, even some of the smaller games ends up popping up that happens, and that's like really unfortunate. If you're a fan, like I can understand a little bit of the worry and things like that. Is Microsoft gonna fight back against stuff like this? Are they gonna have to pay more money? Like, they already do that, right? So I mean, if you think about it, they don't just sit there and get the big games that everybody else and that's kind of the thing. Like, even with Call of Duty, right, before Microsoft bought Activision, and I talked about this similarly in another video, before they went out and bought Activision, they had threatened to pull Call of Duty from Xbox. They wanted a bigger cut. Usually the cut is 70-30, and they wanted a 80-20 cut. So again, they take less money, and they also admitted on record that they take less money for bigger games. That's like something you have to do. And they also mentioned that they aren't able to do things that other publishers like Sony does, right? And what I mean by that is Sony pays less money because they have a larger install base. There's a fear not to be on PlayStation. There's not really a fear not to be on Xbox, because Xbox has a lower install base, which you go, okay, well, what's the install base to Xbox? To our best guess, it is 22 to 24 million, somewhere in between there. Even if you wanted to give it a high end, you could say 25 million, but that means that PlayStation has almost triple what Xbox has sold at this point, because we know in July of last year, at the Brazil show, indie game show, they put on the slide that Xbox One had sold almost 60 million, and that they were at 21 million Xbox Series X and S. Again, so in 7 months they didn't sell, I know people like to use VG charts, but in 7 months they didn't sell 6 million consoles. So they aren't at 27 million like people were saying. They're at somewhere between 22 and 24. And it's unfortunate, because you will see stuff like that kind of happen, and then it really makes me worry for the next generation, depending on what goes along, because if they launch something and they people don't see that they have exclusives, I think we could see some major problems down the line. So anyway, I'm going to link this in the description. You guys can let me know what you guys think about it, though. Peace.